Using these VS Code extensions will make you a 10x developer. And that is why I've divided this video into 3 separate sections. In the first section, I will tell you the extensions which will help you out in code editing and formatting so that you don't get lost while developing your applications. In the second section, we will discuss the version control extensions that can help you supercharge your Git and GitHub experience. And in the third section, I'll tell you the extensions which can drastically improve your developer experience and make your development cycle 10 times faster, or who knows, maybe 100 times faster as well if you use these extensions effectively. And I will also tell you about a local AI copilot which will change the game on how you develop your applications. So let's get into it. Alright, so first let's discuss the extensions related to the code editing and formatting. Basically, these extensions will help us in making our code much more readable and more effective to update or edit our code basically. So the first one is auto rename tag. So I'm gonna come on to this extensions tab over here and search auto rename tag, and here it is, and click on install. So I opened my Calendly clone project over here that I recently uploaded on my channel. So I've opened a component over here, and here now you can see we have this button over here, right? Now first of all, if I just go on and disable this extension first and then try to, let's say, edit this button, let's say button 1 over here, right? Now you've written button 1 over here, but the closing tag is still button, right? You have to write 1 over here manually, and trust me, in long run things like this can take a lot of your time. So to prevent this, we have auto rename tag. So let's enable it now. And now if I go on and say button 1, notice it has updated the closing tag as well. This is awesome. Now the second extension is this ES7 React Redux React Native snippets, and I've seen a lot of you ask me how I do this. So if I create a new file, let's say test.jsx, and I say RAFCE. If you're developing a React or Next.js application, if you type this and click on over here, you can see it gives you a boilerplate code for that particular React component, and it has multiple different things. So let's just say RAF, and you can see if you press Control space over here, it will show you a display right here on what that code snippet is all about, right? So this is a arrow function with the separate export default. This one has prop types as well. So if I click on over here, and now you can see it has auto selected all these 4 sections. Now if I say test component and press tab over here, you can see it has created this component for me with the prop types and everything. In any other scenario, we would have spent probably 10-15 seconds writing this code, right? So this can massively save your time when you want to quickly develop a large scale application. Okay, did you notice something? Our component was looking like this, right? But when I pressed save, so Control S, did you see what just happened? Single quotes changed to double quotes. This didn't have any bracket, but now it does. What's going on over here? How is it auto formatting? And that brings me to my next extension, which is Prettier. So over here in this extensions tab, there we go, Prettier code formatter. And trust me, this is the most widely used extensions out there, and this will make your code formatting a breeze. If I, let's say, press some spaces over here, now these are unnecessary spaces, right? Prettier knows that we don't need it, and when I press Control S, it will automatically delete this unnecessary space. If I say multiple different spaces over here, now obviously only one space will be considered. If I press save, now it will only allow one space, and it will, remove the other spaces. Now obviously these things are configurable as well in the settings. So if I go to settings over here, just search Prettier, and here you can see we have this Prettier option, and there are a lot of options to configure. Like you can add any configuration file over here as well. If you scroll down, you have multiple different options, like if you want to if you want to format the code on save, if you want to format the code on paste. So I will highly recommend you guys to go on and check and explore these settings over here according to your need. But what I feel like is probably the more industry standard formatter is not Prettier. It's actually ESLint. So if you search ESLint over here, it's kind of very similar to Prettier, but in most of the industry applications, I've seen ESLint is used a lot. And when you initialize or when you create a new Next.js app, it comes right out of the box with this .eslint.rc.json file. And this is basically the configuration file for ESLint. And whatever rules we write over here, it will apply to all other developers, whoever, who are using our application over here. Now let me show you. If I remove this rule over here, see, we got no error in this component, but you can see over here, this prop types is not being used anywhere. These props are not being used anywhere, right? So what I want is whenever these variables and imports, if they are not being used, it should give us warning, right? So that's why I've written this rule over here, that inside of this rules bracket, I've written no unused vars, and what I need to do, warn. If I want it to give me error, so I'll say error. And now you'll see it will give us red line. But if I just want it to warn, then it will give us yellow line over here, right? And it will even tell us that props is declared but is never used. And so that is from VS Code actually, and this is from ESLint rules. So props is defined but never used. So if you are working in some companies and all, you might have seen something like this, like you might have attempted to do something or change something inside of a component, but you can see it's not allowing you to do this. It's because there are set ESLint rules that are written inside this .eslintrc.json file. Now there are a lot of things that goes on in writing a configuration like this, and I would highly recommend you to go on and check out their documentation to learn about all of them. And if you want me to create an in-depth video on this, just let me know in the comments down below. Now, this another extension is something that I didn't know for a very long time, but when I discovered this, it honestly relieved so much of my pain. And I'll show you, probably you don't even know about that this is something that you want to solve in your life, but now with this extension you will get it. So let me show you. Over here you can see I have three variables: loading, error, and function. So I've basically created this custom hook over here, and I've renamed all of these three things just like this. For loading, it will be loading and name of that event, like for example create event. For error, I have renamed it to error and whatever the name of event is. And for the function, I will keep it exactly just like that, like whatever the event is. But now over here you can see I'm using camel case over here, right? So the first one is lowercase, and all of the others are uppercase. Lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, uppercase. That's fine. But now if I want to change this to some other function, right? So if I just select using Control D, so a lot of you might be editing your code just like this, right? Now if I, let's say, want to change this to delete event, so if I select this and say delete event, now this is following the perfect camel case over here, but notice what happened over here. Now we have a capital D here, and we need to manually go on and add a lowercase t. And this might again look like a very small thing, but in large scale development and hours and hours of development, things like this can become a real pain point. So let me show you how we can solve it. So there's this extension called multiple cursor case, and this should bring it in. Yep, this one, multiple cursor case preserve. Now notice if I install it, and now if I go back, I'm gonna select this again, Control D for both of them, and now if I try to say delete over here, delete, notice what happened. It followed the camel case, or the original basically formatting that we have added over here. If I show you again, if this was delete event, right, it's completely in the uppercase format. So now if I try to do this again, if I say create event, notice it has followed the same convention over here. This is amazing, honestly. When I discovered this extension, it relieved so much of my pain, and it will do the same for you, trust me. Now before moving forward, a lot of you message me and ask me sometimes that what is the best place for learning advanced JavaScript, functions like generator functions, getter or setter functions, etc. Right? So let me show you. So this is the resource that I referred to, and you can see they have this advanced JavaScript course over here, where in the first chapter itself they will help you to solidify your JavaScript foundations by teaching you things like switch, ternary operator, set timeout, set interval, the event loop, which is very important for interviews as well, right? If you come down to these last chapters over here, you can see collections and symbols, which I don't think and a lot of people talk about, right? Which is sometimes asked in senior developer interviews. So this platform is called as Scrimba, and I actually reached out to these guys to collaborate for this video, and they were kind enough to give me a 30% off discount for you guys. And the best part about Scrimba is their interactive video tutorials. Like if I show you, so you can see over here that instructor is teaching about form actions over here, and you can see we have zoomed out of the video and gotten right inside of the code. So we don't ever have to leave our website and we can directly jump right into the code. We don't have to open VS Code or whatever, right? So definitely click the link in the description down below and avail this 30% off, which is only valid for next 2 weeks, right? So don't miss out on this offer. Let's get back to our video. Alright, now let's see the extensions which will help us in version control and collaboration with other developers. So if I go over here and search Git graph, and in our day-to-day jobs, the production grade apps that we work on have, infinite amount of commits and everything, right? So it gets so much messy to manage all of these commits and to understand basically the hierarchy and everything of these things, right? So this Git graph will help you out in that massively. So just click on over here, like on install button, and then go to your this source control tab over here. Now here, there's this icon for view Git graph. When you click on it, you will see all of the commits that are ever made on this app during the development of this app. If I click on any of the commit, let's say this one. So this was my last commit and these are my uncommitted changes right now. If I click on it, I can see what are all the things that I've changed. If I click on it, you can see. It clearly shows that we have changed these many things inside of our app. And if I go to previous commits over here, if let's say some developer changed something inside of a file and I want to see what are all the changes that they've made over here, and you can see they've basically removed this use state from over here and nothing else, right? So this makes things so much clear while developing our applications. But what if we have multiple different branches? This one has just one branch, right? So let me show you. So this is basically my React 19 series. You can check out from link in the description down below. So here you can see we have multiple different branches teaching about multiple different things. First of all, I uploaded this use action tutorial, right? So all of these files are over here. Now, I don't want to touch this branch over here, right? And I want to create new branches from it. That's why I've created multiple different branches like, use optimistic or this use form status, or made some basic changes as well, like update readme, right? So now you can clearly see the representation on when a certain branch was made on which point. And if you want to see, let's say just one single branch, let's say if I want to see this use form status branch, if I click on over here, use form status, you can see the whole timeline of this particular branch only. Now, if I want to compare it with some other branch now, if I just say master branch, you can see. So it shows us this was the master branch and here this branch was formed, the head, and here was the use form status branch. Right, so this will help you massively in understanding Git, which is something that confuses freshers the most, right? So this is the type of tools that you should be using. And there's actually one more extension for Git that is called as Git Lens without any spacing. Okay, so this one, just click on install over here. I've already installed it. Now, what will this help us to do? So imagine a scenario where, let's say 5 different developers are working on some feature, and one of the developer broke something inside of our app at some particular line, right? Now, either you can go on and into the commit and dig when that particular change was made, or you can simply go on to that particular line. Let's say if it was this line, if I click on over here in this line, it will clearly show who was the one who made this commit and how long ago. It shows 2 months ago, right? So every single detail can be seen right over here. This one extension has helped me so much over the years on getting myself out of a situation like that. If something broke in the branch that I was working, I can clearly show, no, my code didn't break this branch, it was someone else. You can clearly see the commit over here. This will also tell you the name of the commit as well. Now this third collaboration extension is just mind-blowing. Right, so if I go on over here in the extensions and search live share, click on over here and install this extension. Now, how will this help us? Let me just open that Calendly clone project back. Now, let's say I'm developing this application and I want my friend who lives in some other part of the world to help me develop it. So what I will do, after installing live share, you will see there's this icon over here in your VS Code. I want it, I can decide if I want him just to see my code or to edit my code as well. Let's say I want him to edit as well. So if I click on share, read write, and it will start a collaboration session. Okay, there we go. It has started the collaboration session. It will give you the invitation link. It has already copied it, but if you want to copy again, click on copy again, right? Now, if I go on to our browser and open this link right over here, it will open the VS Code instance inside of our browser. And it will also ask you that if you want, you can, take this to VS Code as well. You can clearly see it shows us to download VS Code. But let's say if I don't want to do it, right? And let's just continue as anonymous. I will say Algo Agarwal, press enter, and you can see joining collaboration session. Now I would have gotten this thing over here, like if you want to accept the user. So I'll say accept read write. And now you'll see that user will join our workspace. If I go back to the browser, there we go. User can see our code successfully, and they can see where I am in the code currently, and I can see where they are in the code currently. So if I hover on this, so you can see Piyush is over here, and let's see where is Algo Agarwal. I can click on over here on their name, and it will take me right where they are coding. That is over here. Let's say if we try to change something, let's say hello. You can see it is updating everything in real time right here. Right? So this is absolutely amazing. I love this, and I use this a lot whenever I'm developing an application in collaboration with someone. Either it's a freelance project or if it's a company project as well. And if you're someone who's preparing for front-end interviews, you can definitely go and check out my front-end interview preparation course. This is the only thing that you will ever need to prepare for your front-end interviews. And not only this, I've covered every single topic of React.js, like React Router DOM, Redux, all of the hooks, class-based component, function-based component React, even the performance optimization, which is asked from senior developers a lot, tons of machine coding questions as well, and obviously in-depth interview preparation course on JavaScript as well. And not just this, along with this course, you get an active Discord community where you can ask your doubts whenever you get stuck, and we will be there to help you. So click the link in the description down below, because right now we're having the biggest sale of the year for a very limited time. So don't forget to check it out. Or you can also scan this QR code on your screen to go directly to the course page. Alright, now the third and the most interesting part of this video, that is improving your developer experience. Now one thing that you may have noticed from since the beginning of this video is this blue color over here. And honestly, I love this a lot because this feels very aesthetic to be able to apply colors onto your VS Code. So just go to your extensions tab and search Peacock. And here's this extension. Obviously this is very specific to some people. Just install this extension and press F1. And now if you search Peacock over here, and let's say change to a favorite color, here you can see we have bunch of different options. You can either you can also enter a specific color over here, but whenever I'm teaching React probably on my channel, I like to keep this Mandalorian blue so that it fits the theme of what I'm teaching. It has Node green, it has JavaScript yellow, and bunch of different colors over here, right? Apart from this, you can see my files and folders over here have these beautiful icons, which helps me differentiate on what that particular folder contains. And this is not something that comes inbuilt in VS Code. So if you go on over here and search material icon, something like this, material icon theme. So you can see if you install it, let's say if I disable it, right, and restart extension, you can see it's very simple right now, right? It will only show us these icons for the files and everything. But if I go on and enable it, you're gonna see it looks much more pretty now. For Prisma folder, it has created this Prisma logo over here. For public folder, it shows this globe icon, hooks, components, app, etc. Right? So you can see next config icon over here as well. So it supports variety of icons for different types of file types. And you can see over here in the file icons list, it supports all of these icons, and list goes on and on. All right. Now, if you're developing a Next.js application, just like the one that I have over here, sometimes these apps can get a little bit complex, right? If you open this main folder, we have multiple different files and folders over here, one inside the other, and it might get it a little bit overwhelming if you're trying to find some file or folder inside of your app. So for that, we have this next.nav. Yep, this one over here. Just install it and let me show you what this helps us do. And you can see we have this next.nav over here. If you click on it, there we go. We can see the whole structure of your app. Obviously, this is not the structure of my app. We have to configure one thing. Just click on over here, and you have to set where is our app folder. So our app folder is right over here in the root. Click enter app and submit. Now you can see the proper structure of my app. Inside of the app, we have auth folder which contains sign-in, sign-up routes. We have a username, a dynamic route, a main folder, a lib folder, multiple different things over here. If you want, you can click on over here and you can create a file from right here itself. If you want to see one particular tree, let's say if I just want to see this main tree over here, it will only show me that one. When I click on it, we can go back to the whole tree over here as well. So this is also something which is something that we don't know we need, but we actually do to make our life much more easier. Now next, this thing can vary from different things, right? We have Tailwind CSS IntelliSense, right? So when you're writing the classes, Tailwind classes, let's say over here, if I say text dash, let's say gray, you can see we can see a lot of types of colors over here, a lot of shades of green, orange, and whatever that we're trying to do. So it makes our development super fast, and we don't have to rely on the documentation for these things. So these IntelliSense extensions are very helpful, and you can it depends from the type of tech you're using. If you're coding on Angular, Node, or if there's some other technology like Dart, Python, etc., right? So you can install an extension with respect to that. Now there's one thing that has always been pretty hard for some people, and that is writing this readme file. You cannot see the preview of this thing over here while you're building it, but no more. We have this thing called as markdown preview. This one, I believe, yeah, markdown preview enhance. Let's say if I install it, and now if I go back to my readme file, readme.md, and now if I click on over here, and you're gonna see, amazing, we can see the live preview or what we are doing over here. If I remove this progress, you can see it's updating in real time, and we can know what this will be like to see when we upload our upload this file onto GitHub. Generally we would go on and create this file in GitHub because there's a preview feature, but no more. Now you can directly create a file over here and edit it as well. Alright, now is the moment that all of you were waiting for. That is a local AI code completion tool, basically an alternate of GitHub Copilot. So if you go to extensions over here and search continue and click on install over here, so you can see continue, and it supports multiple different AI models. And right here you can see it has created a new tab for continue over here. So yours might look a little bit different because I've used this extension before, right? So here you can see this tells us what are all the AI models that you can use with continue. So if you click on quick start, it tells you that you can quickly get up and running using the API keys of different models, but we don't want that, right? We want it to be completely free. So we're not gonna go on and enter like Claude or OpenAI API keys over here. We're just gonna go local with Ollama, and this will basically use the open source Llama 3 model from Meta. So it tells you how to install Ollama. If you click on it and open it, so it will open this ollama.com/download. You can quickly go on and download for Windows and close it, and you can open it up. Now it shows us Ollama is running at this local host, right? But that is not enough. You need to click on over here and install both of these models. So this one basically is going to be helping you for chatting with an AI models right inside of your VS Code. So if you add it to your terminal and press enter, it will install it. I've already installed it. So this one and this one over here as well. This will help you to auto-complete things inside of VS Code. So let's see. Let's first try it out. But before that, we need to configure one thing. So click on over here in the settings of continue. So configure continue, and you will come onto this file over here. Now here it shows tab autocomplete model, and here you need to write all of these things. Like you need to provide the title, whatever title it is. The provider is Ollama. The model name is this. You can find all of these things in the documentation for continue as well. And the API base, whatever the API base is. So in our case, it's 11434. So that's why I've written it that over here, right? So this will basically set up our autocomplete. And over here, you can, for our chat, you can select Llama 3. So if you click on over here, add chat model, let's select Ollama, and model, let's just say auto detect and connect. So I've just restarted my VS Code. And now when you click on it over here, you can see it shows all of these installed models here. So let's just select Llama 3 latest. And if I say hi, you can see it is processing, and yep, it will give us the responses here as well. Amazing. So we have a local, completely free AI chatbot here. Let's go on to any file. Let's say if I go on to this event form, right? Now if you press, let's just press enter over here, and now you're gonna see this will give us code completion. You see right away. If I say const, let's say if I want to add use search params. Let's see if it's able to detect it or not. So search equals use, no, search, yeah, you can see use search params. It's able to detect what I'm trying to do over here. And accordingly, it will learn over the time and it will give you, code suggestions. So yeah, this completely replaces GitHub Copilot into your, development cycle. And if you get stuck somewhere, just open this continue tab over here and let's just say explain this code. If you press enter, oh, it needs to have a context. So let's just select this code and you're going to see we have multiple options over here like add to chat, edit highlighted code. Let's say add to chat. So we need to just say Control L and it's added to our chat. Let's say explain this code. Right now, it's going to quickly go on and explain. So we don't have to ever leave VS Code or go to ChatGPT or Claude, whatever, right? It just explains everything right over here. So this is an amazing tool. And let me know if you want to see a standalone video on this tool as well. And I'll explain, all of the capabilities on how you can use this effectively. One thing to keep in mind is you need to have a decent PC, like probably a Mac, or if you're using Windows, a decent graphics card to run these models in your local machine. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're preparing for front-end interviews, definitely click the link in the description down below and check out my front-end interview preparation course.